If y'all do not know who this man is, especially if you don't live in Chicago, this is John H. Johnson, and he is the founder of Johnson's Publishing. Now, mind you, he founded this way back at a time when a black man couldn't even really own much, if anything at all. And this guy founded his own publishing company. And under that publishing company, which was called John Publishing, uh, had two major magazines, Jet and Ebony. And as many people in the black community know, Jet and Ebony magazines were like the top two black time, all the way up into maybe, until a magazine started to become sort of obsolete, which what I would say about the mid 2000s, probably around that time. So, it had a pretty long run. And I have to give kudos to this man. Like I said, not bad for a black man in those days to have his own publishing company, because they were few and far in between. But the reason I'm making this video is because John H. Johnson has to be rolling in his grave right now. If y'all have not heard, his publishing company, John Publishing, has now filed for bankruptcy. That's right. The once top publishing company based out of Chicago, founded by a black man that was giving out black publications catered to black people, not just in Chicago, but around the world. Like, this became a worldwide brand, has filed for bankruptcy. Now, bankruptcy basically means that they're freezing their assets, but how Ebony and Jet have been ran in the last couple of years, it's pretty safe to say there is no money left. Like, they had to sell their assets. Like, stuff got frozen. They have no money. And I knew they didn't have any money when a lot of their writers, quote unquote, either left or they were writing for free. Like, they were writing articles and stuff like of that nature without getting paid anything, or they were literally getting paid pennies at the most. And I do mean literal pennies. Like, they were getting Brown Brothers. But you know what? The reason why I said John H. Johnson is probably rolling in his grave is because he probably didn't realize when he gave up his position, and he probably had to because he was getting up in age and he wanted to keep it going. He probably didn't realize it was going to turn into this feminazi cunt fest that did nothing more than to bash black men every chance they got. A lot of these Ebony publications, especially that one they did about Bill Cosby. Now, the one I'm talking about was the one where it had Bill Cosby with the Huxtables on the cover, and this was around the time when he was going through his trial, and it had the shattered glass over it, and it was right over his face, as if the black family or something was shattered or tarnished, or the legacy of Bill Cosby was shattered. And that right there literally pissed a lot of people off, myself included. That was Ebony magazine that did that, that put that out there. I remember that vividly, mainly because it wasn't that long ago. But they literally have turned that into what he created. A black man. Mind you, this was a black man that created this. You'll be shocked by what men have created that cater to women. Outside of black men, Victoria's Secret, a store that's literally catered to a lot of women's fragrances and bath material, that was created by a man. Just to give you a hint, J.C. Penney, for years people thought J.C. Penney was founded by a woman. Nope, it was founded by a man. And there's a long laundry list of others. But back to John H. Johnson. A black man founded this company, and they turned what his empire into a shit show. And nothing but, like I said, a black man bashing, feminazi cunt fest. That's what it became. And then I knew it was like doomed for failure when I started to see Jet online. Good luck finding an Ebony magazine as far as it being on a newsstand. Like, they literally had to go from distributing it physically to putting it online. I remember one reason why a lot of black men love getting Jet magazine, and y'all can agree with me with this in the comment section, was so they could turn to that page and they could see the Jet Beauty of the Week. And I know I'm not lying, because I used to be the same way back in the 90s. Like that was one, like it was always a stigma that a lot of black people didn't read. But when it came to Ebony and Jet magazine, those were the two magazines that black people for sure read. It was probably some other things, but those two right there, you couldn't find a black household that did not have an Ebony or Jet magazine lying around somewhere. That was like one of those type of magazines that had a subscription in almost every black household if they didn't have a subscription to anything else besides the TV Guide. But I think that was more, I think that was free. Like I think that came in regardless. But it's such a shame that after this man is gone, his legacy has pretty much been tarnished, not by his own doing. He didn't know when he gave up his company, and he had to. He didn't know that it was going to turn into this. And like I said, they turned it into what they did, and this whole thing was created by a black man. So that means you are literally taking a huge proverbial shit on this man's legacy. I'm looking right now, and it's saying that this woman by the name of Linda Johnson Rice was in the archives on January 22nd, 2015, and it says the company had hoped to sell it for $40 million, will be among the assets sold through its bankruptcy process. So that means this company has to give away its assets in order to get out of the red. That means they have to give up and part ways with something or some things that have sentimental value to try to at least save the Ebony brand or the Johnson's Publishing. Because it's not just the Ebony brand that's going away. It's not just the Jet brand going away. It's the entire publishing company that this man found and started is about to fade into obscurity. It's about to get the Thanos snap. And that's so sad, because he created a dynasty for black people to consume. You know, to open up the pages of Ebony magazine and Jet to see people that look like you, to discuss things that you like to talk about. I'm sure back in the day, if you asked your parents, they would always probably have discussions about what was talked about in certain publications. Always based on, and then on top of that, celebrities at that time, the black celebrities, a lot of them flocked to be on the cover of Ebony or Jet magazine. That was a huge deal back then. And then it turned into what it turned into. They took this man's vision and they turned it into a fire dumpster. And I think that's what pisses me off more than anything. They love to say that black men don't do anything for the community, or black men don't build. This man built an empire, and what happened? It got in the hands of the wrong people who unfortunately look like us. But at this point, I can call them a co-colonizer, and they turned it into what I can't even identify. I can't even call it Ebony or Jet anymore. Like, they literally used that this man's legacy to turn it into something so sinister that it's deemed unrecognizable, and it at this point is irredeemable. And that is so messed up. Like, they might as well just go to this man's grave and just piss on it right now, because that's exactly what they did. They took a piss and a shit on this man's creative vision. That's what they did. All those years down the drain. Now I can see if they had to get rid of it because maybe it just wasn't, a lot of stuff was fading into obscurity. But it probably was, but it had help sending it into obscurity even faster due to those hands that it went into. That's why you have to be careful of who you allow to get control of your company. But like I said, he didn't know that this was going to happen. But it's upsetting, because like years from now, people won't even know what the hell a Ebony or Jet magazine is. They won't even know what Johnson Publishing is. Some don't even know today. Some don't even know Ebony and Jet was founded by a black man. And I think that's the real messed up part. It's one thing, when you have like these schools bury your pioneers and your inventors and inventions. But it's another thing when you have your co-colonizers who look like us do it for them. And that's exactly what happened here. So I appreciate the years that he put into this company, into his own brand, to give out source material to the black community at large, not just only here in the States, but across the globe, up until it turned into what it turned into. After that, it just became whatever. Like, at this point, no one's really checking for it. As a matter of fact, I had to go in on somebody who posted something up on Vibe the other day. I'm like, Vibe is still around? I haven't heard of Vibe since like the mid 2000s. But it shows you what happens when certain hands get involved with these companies. That's why myself, Professor Black Truth, Jason Black, and a few others always shit on publications like The Root or The Griot or Madame Noir, because of the hands that are attached to it on the surface level, but we know who's really running things behind the scenes. I remember, I think it was The Root, when we found out who owned The Root, it was these two, I want to say, Italian guys who owns it. But you would think it was black owned by all the writers that write up those stupid articles like that Damon Young writing stuff like black men are the white men of the black community and all that shit. We see those puppets and they refuse to cut their strings, and I don't think they getting paid that much either. That's another thing I really can't wait to see go. Is that The Griot and Madame Noir? But see, as long as people are silly enough to still consume that crap, they'll never go away. That's why they put the stuff out there that they do. And low key, BET be on the same shit. But then again, they're owned by Viacom. So there you go. But all in all, it's sad to see a legacy go, but when a legacy gets tarnished the way that it did these last couple of years, you almost have to say, I'm glad that it's leaving. At least, hopefully, people can go and research the old Ebony and Jet, or the foundation of it, and just try to bypass this more recent crap that happened with it. But y'all let me know what you think about this down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.